This episode is divided into two parts because it's pretty long, so do look up for part 2.
2, 3.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Coffee Chat. I'm Anson.
I'm Sanghua.
And we're from
Eason Music. So Eason Music is a company that started in 1978, and we do all kinds of things related to Chinese music instruments. Like we sell instruments, we offer music lessons, and we do repairs and restoration as well. So Anson, what have you been up to lately?
Okay, so actually I'm quite into this mobile game for the past few months.
Mobile game. What kind of mobile game?
Okay, so there's this game called Pokemon Unite. I'm not sure if you heard of it before.
I've heard of Pokemon, but not Unite.
So have you heard of games like Mobile Legend, Dota, those types? So it's a
Yeah.
multiplayer online battle arena game. So
okay.
they adapted it into a Pokemon style with Pokemon, cute little Pokemons running around, dunking goals. And so in this kind of games, right, there's always like this huge rosters of like playable characters. So and there are always like different categories, like there's defensor, attacker, speedster, all this. So I realized actually and these games usually they have a lot of players, and they'll have their own YouTube channel, and they'll be ranking all these ranking all these characters into like different tiers. So there's this tier list for these games this season of Pokemon Unite. So I was just thinking, right, actually this huge roster of characters, right, is like a orchestra instrument. You have the plucking, you have the strings, you have the woodwinds. It's like the defense, the attacker, the supporter, all these things. So I was thinking it would be quite fun if we do our own version of Chinese orchestra tier list.
Yes. So what are the I'm sure the tier list, they have different segments and sections.
Like criteria.
Yes.
So recently the video that I watched, the video is like, oh, this instrument, this character, this game character needs to be buffed or need to nerf, this kind of thing. So I think we should come up with our own criteria as well for this tier list, and I think we can come up with 4 ranking criteria.
Okay.
And how we're going to go about is in each of these criteria, we're going to have from an S rank to a C rank. So
Wait, hang on. S rank would be the best
the
rank.
best. Yeah,
Okay.
S followed by A, B, C.
S, A, B, C.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. Okay, so the first criteria will be ease of picking up the instrument.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
So meaning like you first encounter the instrument, and it's easy to pick up, it's easy to learn, it's easy to make a sound.
Okay, yeah, I suppose it's easy to make a decent sound out of it. I mean, without going into it first, instruments like pianos.
Piano, because the notes are all there. You just need to press down, then all the note is there already.
Yes.
Versus maybe violin.
Violin would be like maybe the C tier, the last tier, because
there's no frets for you.
there's no frets, and you need to work on your
and it's
bowing.
such a awkward position. Is it awkward? I'm not sure. You're the violinist.
It is a little bit awkward.
Yes,
So the first will be ease of picking up the instrument. Yes.
So the second criteria would be versatility. So in terms of like, is the instrument able to play solo, accompaniment, or they're just solely the type of instrument that can play melody, they can't do any accompaniment?
All right. So for example,
A piano.
a piano.
Piano versus a violin.
Yes, a piano can play.
It's definitely a versatile instrument.
Yes,
no
it can
doubts
play
about it.
melody plus the accompaniment.
Yes, it's
very
own
well.
accompaniment.
Yes, and as opposed to violin, usually is only used to play a melody.
Yeah, that's right.
But sometimes a violin still can be used to play some accompaniment.
Yeah, but it's still more melodious, like more phrasing kind of.
So, for example, flute will be difficult to play accompaniment, or even let's take a very trumpet.
Yeah, the more blasting type of instrument.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're just
So that's
using
versatility.
Yes.
So the third criteria will be ease of listening. So we had ease of picking up. So this is ease of listening. So it's from the listener's perspective, like higher register instrument versus low register instrument.
Again, let's take Western instruments just as an example before we go into Chinese instruments. The one on having an S tier would be, to me, like clarinet, flute. It's very it's very bassoon.
It's kind of
okay. Yes, but maybe a bit too bassy and to me
so that can be quite a thing to discuss. Like maybe instrument that's in a too bassy range might be annoying to some people. So we would know.
I'm sure that those things like trumpet is irritating to people because it's very loud and it's very sharp. Okay, so what's next?
Okay, so that's the ease of listening.
Yes.
And finally, the fourth criteria will be maintenance. So meaning how easy it is to keep the instrument in its playable state. For example, the Western instrument I can think of is maybe the violin. It could be quite easy to maintain. Look at Stradivarius. So many years is still usable. It's still being passed around in such a high value instrument.
Yeah, and the accessories is very easy to replace. Like
just
you can replace the strings
bridge occasionally,
and the bow.
Yeah,
so it is relatively easy to maintain it. It is in its decent playing condition, as opposed to maybe a
maybe wind instrument,
maybe bronze wind instrument, brass. Sorry,
Bronze Age.
Yeah, what about brass instruments that's difficult to
I wouldn't
maintain?
know it. I just know every time they finish playing, they have to remove the valve and then like drip all the condensation.
Okay. Anyway, that's we are just using that
criteria for the tier list for Chinese orchestra instruments. And before we jump into it, why don't we just list down the instruments that we'll be categorizing it into the tier list
today?
What are they? So in the strings we have Erhu, Gaohu, Zhonghu. So the very standard two-string instruments we see in the orchestra. Of course, we're going to exclude the cello and bass, because this is more towards the Chinese instruments. So in plucked, we have Yangqin, Liuqin, Pipa, Zhongruan, Daruan, Guzheng, and Guqin. In the wind, we have Bangdi, Qudi, Gaoyin Suona, Zhongyin Suona, I mean the soprano Suona, the alto Suona, Guan, Sheng. So in Sheng, we also have the soprano, Gaoyin Sheng, Zhongyin Sheng, alto Sheng, Hulusi, Bawu, Xun, and finally the Xiao.
So Anson, we're probably the first company that started this, probably in the English-speaking world.
Yeah, for Chinese instrument, I really think this is a new boundary for us to step into.
Well, anyway, it's just for fun. So
that's
please
right.
do not take offense at anything. And if you have any comments or if you do disagree, please just let us know. We can do an update of tier list. That always happens, right?
Yeah, that always happens in games. There's a patch update and tier list update also.
Yeah, and because Anson is mainly in plucked string instruments.
Of course, we'll keep it as unbiased as possible.
Yeah, and my forte is in strings, and I do know a bit of plucked string instruments. So there are some instruments which maybe we do not know it well enough.
Okay. All right, let's jump straight into the first criteria, which is ease of picking up. So we're looking at the strings category now, Erhu, Gaohu, Zhonghu. Laoban, what do you think?
Well, I think for Hu Qin's, I would give it a C tier.
A C tier, right? Straight off already at the final bottom of this. Why?
Hu Qin's, as in Erhu, Gaohu, Zhonghu, they are all difficult to pick up because you need to get a good grasp of your bowing before it starts to sound good. And your left hand, there's no fret, there's no fretboard.
You have to have a idea of pitching also.
Yes, if not, it will sound really, really bad. So
it's fair to say we're just going to lump all these three Hu Qin's into the C tier of this category.
Yes. So among the three of them, Erhu will be easier to pick up. Zhonghu and Gaohu are slightly more difficult to play, but I would say C tier for all of them.
All right, so we can move on to the plucked string now.
Yes.
So Yangqin, I mean, what do you think? Because I already have a tier in my heart already.
I would say S.
S tier.
Yeah, it's easier. Yangqin is something like the piano.
Yeah,
so the strings are all there, instead of using your fingers to press, dung, you just use sticks to hit.
all you have to do is do two things. Your wrist must be correct, and then you just have to remember where your notes are, and you're good to go.
Yeah. So I would say S tier for Yangqin. Yeah, for the ease of sounding good
And also
from the
easy to
beginning.
pick up. So in that notion, so I would say Guqin might be in S tier too. What do you think?
Yeah, Guzheng is in S tier too. You know, when you just pluck it, run your fingers down the strings.
It already sounds so nice
Yeah, it
because of the tuning is in pentatonic and you can't go wrong. No, I had this analogy because yesterday I was tuning the Guqin, right? I was thinking, so the Guqin sounds nice because you can just pluck any notes and it sounds like a song already. Like you can play 唱海一声笑 is la so mi re do, or 茉莉花 ease of playing 茉莉花 mi mi so la do do la so so. So you can play everything on the Guqin side. Definitely an S tier in my books.
Okay, sure.
Yes, moving down the list, Pipa. I would say it's C tier. Like, what do you think?
Yes, I agree. Although Pipa looks like
It's
something that is easy to play.
But there's so many techniques.
Yeah, first you need to put on fake fingernails.
Yeah, versus Guqin is 4, and then almost each finger has its own practice to do also. So Pipa. I mean, I do teach some school plucked string section, and Pipa is really my nightmare.
Yeah, and the strings are tuned in a very funny way. I think Pipa players would disagree, but I mean, why would you have two strings that is just one tone apart?
One tone, D and E, A, D, E, A.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting instrument. Interesting. I use that word lightly.
And not to mention that it is very heavy, backbreaking.
Okay lah, most of the instrument that we're going to move down in this category is Yangqin is very heavy. But
you
at least
you
we
hold
put it
it
on our lap. We don't have to put it on our lap. It only pains us if we have to carry it around.
Yes.
So Pipa, C tier. I'm sorry, Pipa players. So Zhongruan, I would say it's B.
Yeah, I would say it's a B.
Yeah,
because
even, I think between B and A like that, but the high B.
Wait. I think it's A.
A, yeah. Okay, why?
I would put it at A because your right hand, you just need to learn one motion, which
versus
two
the
motions
Pipa.
are 弹跳.
Yeah, and any variation if it's just a faster or slower version of the tan and tiao, like Lun is just you just need to play more tan tiao only, that's it.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah, in a general sense, don't count after us.
And the left hand is relatively easier.
And the tuning also makes progression of the scales easier also.
Yeah, because there are certain patterns like GD.
Yeah, then it's easy to run up the scale, up and down the scale, so
easier
than Pipa.
Yes.
So Zhongruan, we put it in A tier, and Zhongruan Liuqin, we lump it in the same family, learning family, because of the tuning. But I would still think Liuqin, I'll put it in B tier because of the strings.
Okay.
Yeah, it's thinner.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think when you pick up this instrument, I think Liuqin players can relate to this. You will break your first string so often. Yeah, and for me, I picked up the Liuqin at one point in my life, and it really turned me off. So
and everything about the Liuqin is smaller. When the thing is smaller, you have to your movements are
you have to be more dainty.
more concise. Yes, and I don't know, scrunch your fingers together or what.
So, moving down the list, Daruan.
Daruan
is like Ruan also, but it's not small like Liuqin, but it's way bigger than a Zhongruan.
So it's quite bigger. It's quite bigger.
It is bigger.
It is bigger, and it's difficult to handle. The strings are very tight and it's very heavy.
Yeah, but I think disclaimer, usually people who play Daruan, right, they have to start off with Zhongruan also, like the Gaohu Zhonghu. You have to start off with the Erhu first, right? So in Daruan, in the sense of Daruan, what do you think?
I think it would be a B.
B, just because of the sheer size of it. And
yes.
the distance between the frets also.
The distance between the frets and the tension of the strings.
Yeah, lor. So that's that for the runs. So then how about Guqin?
Guqin,
very interesting, this one. I would say C tier.
Actually, before that, I would say maybe A tier.
For Guqin?
Yeah, but after you brought up some of the points.
So we did chat about it. So Guqin, right, it's an instrument where you have to slide your finger on the strings in order to get a note. It's okay, just imagine a mountain dulcimer or a violin, but on the table. then you have to slide your fingers, the side of your thumb. And I believe when people started learning, they have to apply a bit of Vaseline to make the process more less painful. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say it's in the B and C, but then again, Guqin is such a rare instrument in our books.
I would say B, because for the fact that the strings are already tuned to a pentatonic way.
Yeah, that's in a sense yeah.
So when you pluck it using your right hand, it does sounds nice.
Okay, yeah, fair point also.
It's just that the left hand, when you're doing funny
hurts.
things, it might, yes.
So in agreement, B or C? What do you think?
I would say B.
Okay, then we shall put it in the B tier for the ease of picking up for Guqin. Okay, now the win. 邦迪曲笛.
I would say B tier.
For all the like the both Dizi, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too, because learning wind instrument, especially something like Dizi, right? You have to talk about your embouchure. It's not like the sheng where you just blow into a pipe, then the sound come out already.
Yes.
Yeah, and then because customer come in and then we have to like describe to them the feeling of how to play the Dizi. We always say, oh, try to imagine blowing into a glass bottle and you want to make a sound, you don't blow directly into it, all this angle, and then some people learn for like 2-3 months and they still sound like they're leaking air, like
That's me now also.
well, we don't play Dizi, but I would say kudos to all the Dizi players out there, because this is such a B tier instrument in terms of picking up. It's not easy to pick up, so kudos to them also.
Okay, yes.
So
B tier.
邦迪曲笛 in the B tier. How about Suona? 高音唢呐, 中音唢呐, C. I would say it's a C tier.
I would say C. Yeah, because the intonation is, although you get a sound, you need to adjust your mouth to get the correct intonation, right?
It's not just that, like you need to make a sound through the reed is already such a difficult task. I mean, some people can just get it right off the bat, but some people really cannot like activate their diaphragm or something like that. You know, it's not a very straightforward instrument, even though it looks like it. It's the reed. The reed is the one that's really causing.
Okay.
So speaking of reed, right, I would say even Guan is in this category also, C tier, just because of its sheer difficulty of picking up.
Guan, yes. I would say C tier for Guan, and Suona sounds reasonable.
Yeah, but then we have the other spectrum, which is the sheng. What do you think? I would say it's an A tier.
Sheng is an A tier, but I think there's a difference between Gaoyin Sheng and Zhongyin Sheng, right? Zhongyin Sheng is
Requires,
you're just pressing
but
notes,
it's the
not notes.
Oh yeah, true. So 中音声, right? There's a few version of 中音声, but we're talking about the button one, not the keyboard shaped one, the button 排中音排声. So all you have to do is just play into the pipe and press the corresponding keys in order to make a sound. So 中音声, yes, I would say it's an A tier.
Yes.
Or even S tier.
Ease of playing. I don't know. Because you need to use a breath.
Oh
something
yeah,
that
you might tire out, like get breathless also. True. So A tier sounds like a. But what about? So what did you like differentiate the 中音声 and 高音声?
The Gaoyin Sheng, you have to cover
the
whole
on the side, sometimes like inside also.
Yes, it just seems very complicated to me.
So B tier for 高音声.
Yeah, B tier.
Okay, and finally we have the Hulusi, Bawu, Xun, and Xiao, the lesser known wind instruments in the orchestra, but surprisingly quite popular amongst like non-orchestra players.
I would say Hulusi and Bawu, they are all S tier.
Because you just need to play into it, then there's a sound coming out already.
Yes.
Xun, C tier, just like the Dizi. No, just like the Suona.
Xun, yes.
It's even more difficult than a Dizi. Like the control is, you have to even more control in your embouchure.
Okay, but Xun doesn't. Can Xun play octaves?
Yeah, I can, but it's limited law. And the way you play octave is also your breath control. So
okay.
The speed of your air.
Maybe C tier. Okay.
Xiao, the last one.
Xiao, I would put it in the same tier as Dizi. But people usually say Xiao is more difficult than a Dizi.
I would put it in C also.
All right, let's put it in C then.
Okay, so we have our first criteria done, tier list for the instrument ease of picking up. So for people who are watching this, I mean, they're listening now, but if we will eventually have video, right, we're going to put this chart up on the video, and also we'll be uploading this chart on our webpage for our blogs and podcasts. So look out for that chart too.
Yes.
All right, so that's the ease of picking up. Now let's move on to our second criteria, which is versatility, meaning whether you can play solo or purely accompaniment or both. Yeah, so looking at the strings.
Yes, strings, I would say it is
B.
Definitely it is more of a solo instrument. Whether can it be used to play accompaniment? Yes, you play
string ensembles, it's quite a good example of it also. Yeah, I would think it's in a B tier. Not so bad that it's C. It's definitely a wonderful solo instrument, but it's a good accompaniment.
It's a good accompaniment when you have lots of people playing together.
Oh, maybe on its own it will be kind of weird also.
Yeah.
Or especially playing broken chords, they will be kind of
awkward.
Yeah, so B or C?
I would say A, because...
Is this the biasness talking or
no?
Logically, objectively speaking.
So we are only looking at the instrument if it's playing by itself, is it? If it's only playing by itself, then I would say a B tier, yes.
Yeah, let's look at it. It's just by itself.
Okay.
A B tier for all the three who's?
Yeah, all the three who's. I think Gaohu, I would give it a C tier.
Yeah, at least Zhonghu, you're in a range to play accompaniment whereby you won't overbear. You won't be overbearing.
Yeah, it will not be too
attention grabbing.
Too is what? Yeah.
Attention grabbing.
Yeah, it will not be too attention grabbing. You'll not grab the soloist limelight.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it also. Okay, so that's the strings. Now let's look at the plug, Yangqin.
Yangqin, of course, it is S tier as well.
I'm just waiting for you to say that.
Oh, so Yangqin has 2 S already.
Oh, don't worry. We have still 2 more.
Yeah, we'll come to the part where I'll give it an F.
Hey, the lower is C. We don't flunk instruments. Okay, so S tier for Yangqin. I mean, needless to say, it is known as the Chinese piano for that reason, because accompaniment, melody. I mean, if Erhu's best friend is the Yangqin back then, before piano accompaniment started to get more popular. So I would think Yangqin, I mean, as a Yangqin player myself. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Yes, no question about it.
What about, okay, but I think the one that only differentiates from piano is it can only play maximum 2 notes. Yeah, but other than that, playing broken chords, playing accompaniment is a wonderful instrument to play in. Okay, I'm harping on. No pun. Guzheng.
Oh, finished?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to talk much about Yangqin.
Okay, all right.
We know it's S tier.
Yes, Guqin also S tier.
Yeah, right. Because it itself already sounds so wonderful as a solo instrument. So, like a lot of expression, but at the same time, it's mellow enough to play accompaniment, and it sounds so like flowing water also.
It sounds like a harp.
Yeah, so definitely an S tier instrument.
But
in terms of versatility.
Yes. There are some limitations. Just
Fa and T.
Yeah. There's no. There's no Fa and T.
Do you think that would deduct mark and turn it into A tier?
No.
Yeah, I think the companies that we play gigs with, the Guzheng players, they're also wonderful, and they really elevate the gig also. I think.
Yes.
Okay, so Pipa. I would say it's an A or B. Because it's such an expressive instrument on its own. In solo, wonderful.
Expressive, yeah, but we are comparing whether can it play accompaniment and solo.
Maybe because of its tone, like the yingse, the tone color is such a standalone sound.
So it cannot be an accompaniment instrument? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, on its own, I think I see it more of a, like, always taking the charge melody, but we also play a lot of gigs. And
then like chung 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 chung.
It sounds good
fine,
also.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe
A tier.
Okay,
just because of how unique it sounds and maybe difficult in playing chords.
No, just so that it can also play chords and it can
I
play.
think using 5 fingers technique also makes it quite a versatile instrument in terms of playing accompaniment.
Okay, yes.
You gave a funny look. What about Liuqin in versatility?
I think it would be B
Right, because it's
because of
the range
pitch,
of the instrument. Yeah,
the
it
pitch is very
functions like
high.
a Zhongruan, but it just doesn't sound like one also. Yeah.
It's just like, but wait, what do you think? Does it sound like a mandolin?
Mandolin plays a lot of chords also.
Yeah. Maybe we haven't explored Liuqin enough.
Yeah, that would be quite a. But I would say B for now.
B for now. I think it has
Maybe
a potential.
in the next patch update, who knows?
It has potential to become A.
All right.
Okay.
So Zhongruan.
Zhongruan, I would say S tier.
Okay. You coming from a guitar player background, on your perspective, definitely an S tier accompaniment instrument. But why giving it an S tier?
Well, it can definitely play solo notes and it can definitely play chords. It can function like a guitar. You can strum it. You can play broken chords.
Yeah, I think you really turn the Zhongruan into a guitar sometime.
Me, yes.
yes, and it's a very wonderful experience to witness.
And the Zhongruan, the tone is not very bright and not very attention grabbing. Yeah, so it is perfect for accompaniment.
Yeah, and even playing solo, you mean?
I'm playing solo. When it plays solo, it does stand. It does come out.
It can stand on its own also.
What am I talking about?
It stands out too. Yeah.
When you're playing solo, it also stands out. So yeah, versatile.
But in that notion, what about Daruan?
I would place it in the same tier.
It's S.
Wait, no.
Having some doubts.
Yes,
I think because of the range of the instrument.
And because it is so difficult to fret chords.
Oh, but just because of the distance of the fret?
Because the strings tension is very high.
It's like almost like a semi-bass.
Yeah, it's like trying to strum a cello maybe.
Oh, I mean you do that too.
Yeah, but it's not so easy.
So A tier? B tier?
Daruan,
Zhongruan is an S tier for you on your books.
But Daruan, do you have a lot of Daruan solos?
Not so much.
It's mainly used to play boom, boom, boom.
I mean, of course, they have very melodious phrases also, but usually the orchestra have to like quiet down so you can hear the Daruan also. B.
All right, B.
Yeah, Daruan in B tier. Boo, kind of sad. How about Guqin? Oh dear.
Guqin,
there are YouTube channels nowadays. There's this, I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel, but they do covers using Guqin also, and it really. Oh, I saw this video of someone using Guqin to play Michael Jackson.
I would say it's similar to Guzheng,
but not as flexible as Guzheng, perhaps.
Because not so many strings, so the range is smaller.
It's as a solo instrument, it's definitely wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, but in terms of accompaniment, maybe it's a little limited.
But still fine, because it's not so attention grabbing and it is in a pentatonic kind of way, so you can still.
Maybe with the help of like miking to boost the sound out a bit.
But I would still give it an A tier.
You would give it an A tier.
Yeah.
All right.
If you know how to
so
play
that's
that.
all for the plucked. Okay, now we're in the wind section. This should be quite fast. Nah, okay, we're like we already have an answer in our head already. But okay, in terms of versatility, the Dizi放第曲D.
I would say C.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's just not an accompanying instrument.
Yeah.
It's so attention grabbing. It's so bursting through the orchestra kind of
fashion
tone.
Then how about Suonas?
Same.
I'm sorry, Suona players, but yes. I mean, definitely a wonderful solo instrument, but accompaniment, maybe. Yeah, but how about Zhongyin Suona? You also put it in C?
Zhongyin Suona.
Kinda.
Yeah.
But the shengs though?
The Shengs
I would put
probably,
it A or S tier,
I would say S tier.
right? Especially the Gaoyin Sheng or both Shengs.
Both Shengs.
S tier because what differentiates from Yangqin, Zhongruan, Guzheng, Sheng can play even more notes. Yeah, I mean, of course, if you put a cluster of notes, people might not understand the beauty of stacking
chords,
so many chords, but it's still versatile enough to play like running notes. Yeah, and it's not like very ta 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 ta, but also very linear, very flowy kind of sound also. Yeah, so I think Gaoyin Sheng, Zhou Sheng, definitely an S tier instrument in terms of versatility.
Yeah, playing solo and playing accompaniment and both together.
How about the Hulusi?
Hulusi definitely cannot play accompaniment.
I'm sorry.
Not cannot play, it would sound weird. I would say C.
Xiao.
Xiao.
C.
Xiao
Actually, Xiao, I would say B.
Yeah, I would say B because you can actually hold a long note. It's like
it's mellow, it's nice.
Mellow, nice.
It's like the ambience.
Yes, a nice drone kind of thing. Yeah, for other instruments to play on top of it.
Guan. Yeah, we forgot about Guan. C.
C. Okay. C.
It's a wonderful mezzo like sounding instrument, but it's just can't really do much accompaniment. Imagine using Guan to play.
Or even a long note.
It would sound rather unique, the tone. Yeah, kind of drony, but not as soothing as the Xiao, perhaps. Yeah.
Okay.
Bao
would be
C tier.
C lah.
But it's also quite yeah, but it sounds yeah. I was gonna say like, oh, it sounds so nice. The sound tone is so interesting.
Bao and Hulusi are quite similar. Very unique tone, which will be too attention grabbing if it's trying to play accompaniment. Shin.
C.
Really?
Shin leh.
Shin is something like Xiao, I would say B, because of its tone quality. It can,
Okay, it definitely can't play broken chords like what the S tier, A tier people can do. But as an accompaniment,
okay, see. Because I'm just thinking that they can play one note and maintain a drone, but that's not good enough.
Yeah, we have to be more objective in this criteria. So definitely a C tier in terms of versatility for the shoe.
Okay.